I hope that you guys didn't close your circumference programs, because we're going to modify this
Yes, we will.
to accept input from the user. To accept input from the user, we're going to introduce you to a command that's included in the IO stream header called cin, much like our little friend here, cout.
So what cin's going to do is it's going to input text from the command screen opposed to output text to the command prompt.
Alright, so why don't we erase this r equals 5?
Right. And the thing that's very useful about this is, you know, like let's say you just wanted to use this program on your laptop when you're in class, you know, for example.
Right.
So instead of recompiling it every time you want to change a number, it would be a lot more convenient if you could just have a little, you know, question pop up and you just, you know, input the value of the radius that you want, and it'll just, you know, perform the calculation.
So why don't we do something silly like this? We'll type cin, and then we'll have the two arrows pointing in, the two greater than signs, but you can kind of look at it as this is pointing in, accepting input.
Right.
And we're going to cin, what's that, radius?
Right.
R. So whatever the user types in, R will equal.
Right. So maybe before this line, let's put a quick cout saying, you know, please enter the radius. Please enter radius. R.
Like this?
Sure. Maybe a colon space.
Quote?
Yep.
Semicolon.
Alright.
Alright, let's do an F9. Please enter radius.
And you'll see the blinking, you know, text input.
Yep, it's
cursor.
waiting for input, so I'll type in 5, enter.
There
we go. Now, like Brian was saying, like if you're in class and you want to type this in nice and quick, what Dev C++ creates an exe file for you, and it's stored in the project folder. So if I wanted to just run this from the command prompt by typing cmd, and then from here, I can type, let me just get my stuff straight here real quick, cd space documents and settings, and settings, dir. I can space here into get into administrator, and I think it's my documents, and then from here cd space cpp dir, and here we have all these executable files, and circ.exe, we can just run that. circ, please enter the radius 5. I will do a different number. Let's do 10. Fair enough?
Yep.
Enter. Gives us our output. Press enter to continue. Ba-boom.
Nice.
Nice little console program that we wrote. I know it took a long time to demonstrate that point, but I think it's something that's good to know.
Yeah.
Alright, so let me just exit out of here. If I can spell exit properly.
And so now you should have the ability to make programs that are a bit more interactive with the user.
Yeah, a lot more dynamic.
Yep.
Yeah.
So now we're back to the skeleton of the program, and you know we're going to show you another way of inputting stuff from the command prompt.
Okay.
And so before we would just type in a number and hit enter. Now if we were to put in a space, it would try to be looking for a whole nother variable to store that in. So how can we store a whole string? You know, how can we input a whole string from the user without being confused by the spaces?
Okay.
Okay, so the way we'll demonstrate this is we'll first declare a string.
S.
Okay.
If we wanted to take in a whole sentence here.
Right.
Like for instance, let's do this. We'll do a cout. Type your first and last name. Look good to you?
Yep.
Then we'll do a cint, s. And now we're going to cout the value of s,
End line.
followed by an end line.
And before the S. Oh, no, never mind.
No, we don't have
the
to,
N?
because when the cn, when you press enter, it's going to automatically create a new line. So you could see here, this is going to print out, type your name, and it's going to grab s, and then it's going to print out s. So let's do an F9. It's going to ask us to save this. We're going to call this cin.cpp, enter. Alright, so I'm going to do Bob Jones and press enter. But it only outputs Bob.
Right.
Now, Brian, why don't you explain to everybody why it does that?
So now, when you add a space to what you're inputting, it's assuming that this is a whole nother input value, and that it should be stored as a completely separate variable.
Right, so in the case of string, an easy way to kind of dumb that down a little bit is when you type space, the S that's being input will stop. Where there is a space, S is going to be like, okay, well this next piece of data, Jones, is going to be intended for something else, so I'm going to stop grabbing data.
Right, so like let's say we want to store these as two different variables, for example. So let's say string S as well as string
Yeah, we can just put them side by side. String
yeah,
S and
S
string
and
T.
Okay, so when we do cin, we're also going to do another greater than after S, and we're going to call it T. So when we output this, let's reverse the names. So we'll do...
Why don't we just do it this way real quick?
Okay.
We're going to output S and T. So we'll press F9. Outputs Bob Jones.
And just to further, clarify that these are completely separate values. Let's just switch them around, like switch the S and the T.
Jones Bob.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
Okay, so now let's say we don't want these as separate values. We want to store these as one long string, with spaces and everything.
Right.
So what we're going to do is let's delete the T declaration.
I'm going to erase all this.
Okay.
And I'm going to... Of course, since you guys learned this before, you could actually have a third string and then do S plus T.
Right.
But if you don't want to waste all that data, if you don't want to waste all that memory space, we'll do what Brian's about to tell us.
Okay. So now what we're going to do is do the getLine command. So we're going to do getLine, and then left parenthesis, cin, comma, S, right parenthesis, semicolon.
All right, so explain to me what's happening here.
So what's going to happen is this is just going to kind of like run the cin command and keep feeding and feeding and feeding the cin until we hit enter.
Right. So basically, another a way to simplify that is instead of grabbing until a space, it will continue until the line is over and done with.
Right. It will get the whole line. That's getLine.
So we'll do F9. Oh wait, hold on.
Yeah, we also want to output this.
Yeah, we want to make sure that we're grabbing it right. Let's make it a little bit more personal. Your name is, and of course, I gotta have that there. Want an press F9. Bob Jones. Your name is Bob Jones.
With the space.
With a space.
So that pretty much concludes the
basics of the cin command.
Right.
All right, so let's continue on.
All right.